Did you know that there is a neighborhood right above Georgetown called Burleith?
What?
Most people don't realize there is a neighborhood right north of Reservoir, right north of R, that is called Burleith. Most people think that Burleith is just Upper Georgetown, but it's not. There is an entire neighborhood called Burleith that was planned, and we're going to talk about it. Georgetown versus Burleith, that's what we're talking about today, and we're starting right now. I'm Sherry Ann Green with Coldwell Banker. Welcome to my YouTube channel that guides home sellers and home buyers in Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia. Many people don't realize that Burleith is its own little conclave, its own little neighborhood. Even people who live in Washington and some people who even live in Georgetown and Burleith don't realize that there are two little neighborhoods right next to each other. So Georgetown is further south and Burleith is further north. They are different neighborhoods, and depending on what you're looking for, one could be right for you and one could be wrong. So today, what I want to do is talk about the two different neighborhoods, Georgetown versus Burleith, so you can see the differences and figure out which one you like best, which one might be the best place for you to call home. It's important to start with the history. Each has its own unique history, and it is long and storied. I'll give you the highlights today. If you want to read more about the history of Georgetown and Burleith, I'll put a couple of links in the description so you can go back and learn even more. So Georgetown is located along the Potomac River, and it was founded by the Providence of Maryland in 1751. Georgetown actually predates the federal district by 40 years. Georgetown remained a separate municipality until 1871, when Congress created a new consolidated government for the whole District of Columbia. Georgetown is known for its renowned Federalist architecture, brick and frame row houses, cobblestone streets, and grand estates, many of which you can tour. Burleith, on the other hand, was built on higher ground, higher than the port, and some even say that in the summertime the temperatures can be about a 5-degree difference in the two neighborhoods. Now, Burleith has a long history in the Threlkeld and Cox families. So Threlkeld owned a lot of land from the Potomac River up through even Georgetown University today, up into what we now call Burleith. He gave some of that land to one of his sons, John Cox, who built a beautiful estate where the Duke Ellington School is today. That house burned and was rebuilt by John's son, Richard. The house went through a very interesting history. It was taken over by the government at one point to become a house for the destitute. It also became a girls' academy for a while. The area where that school was and the woods surrounding it became known as Burleith. It was originally known as Cox Woods, and then later in its history became known as Burleith. The real history of the development of Burleith came along in the early 1920s when a real estate company, Shannon and Lux, decided to build 450 homes in the conclave of Burleith. They varied in their architectural style from its neighboring Georgetown, adding more architectural details and varying the looks of the homes so that it gave them a more distinctive look. Many of them weren't built as tall as their row homes in neighboring Georgetown, and they had a more cottage feel to these shorter row homes. Much of the architecture in Burleith is American colonial with a little bit of Georgian mixed in. Brick in different colors, wood, stone, and plaster were all used in the homes developed in Burleith. Trims, moldings, and other details could even be bought in a catalog and were machine made. One of the differences you'll see in Georgetown and Burleith today is that while Georgetown retains much of its historic character, the exterior facades are quite protected by a group called the Old Georgetown Board. Burleith has seen a variety of different developments. In some of my future videos, I'll take you on a tour of the neighborhood, but here's a quick example of some of the historic Federalist row homes you'll find in Georgetown and some of the homes that have their original unique character and its neighbor who's had a pop-up added on to its second and third floor. Now, looking at real estate, because that may be what you're thinking about, is do I buy in Burleith or do I buy in Georgetown? I went back and looked at 2-bedroom homes that had sold in the last 180 days in both markets to give you an idea of what the average price for a home that has sold is. In the last 6 months, a 2-bedroom home in Burleith averaged a sales price of just over $900,000. The average price of a 2-bedroom home in Georgetown was just over $1.15 million. Now let's take a look at 3-bedroom homes. There are more 3-bedroom homes to be had in both of these neighborhoods, so I only went back 60 days. In Burleith, the average 3-bedroom home over the last 60 days closed at just over $1.3 million. The average in Georgetown, however, closed at over $2 million. Both Georgetown and Burleith are quite walkable. They are, of course, walkable to one another, and most people who live in Georgetown walk to Burleith, and the same in reverse. Both have great restaurants. Georgetown does have more with its commercial corridor. Both have retail. Georgetown has more with its commercial corridor. Both have grocery-type shopping stores. Burleith may win here, as you can easily walk to Safeway and Trader Joe's, and you can soon walk to a Whole Foods. Georgetown has more pickup markets like Foxtrot and a Wawa and Dent Place Market and Sheely's. You can easily walk to at least one pharmacy in both neighborhoods, and both are very convenient to multiple bus lines, so commuting to different parts of DC is very easy. You can also easily walk to a bakery to get a French baguette in either neighborhood. So which neighborhood is right for you? It's really hard to say. I always suggest that clients do a walk around a neighborhood, a drive-by of a neighborhood. I think to some people Burleith feels more suburban. There are lots of trees. It is more of a quiet setting because there isn't the bustling Wisconsin and M district. But Georgetown is also very quaint and very charming, and there are streets that can be very quiet as well. The choice is just really up to you. Historic architecture, that's Georgetown. Ability to develop your house and maybe pop it up and add a story, that's Burleith. Which one's right for you? I'd love to hear what you think. What did I miss? What's important to know about Burleith and Georgetown that I didn't share in this video? Let me know in the comments so that I can address it in a future video. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe.